Hello and welcome once again to Warcraft Alliance and Horde. There's been a new patch released for this game, so I thought I'd make a little video to explain all the changes that have been made. Now, one of the main changes for the Alliance, you get a new building. Well, it's actually the same functionality as the old building, but it's now a mage tower, so I think as far as flavour goes, this looks a lot more familiar to people, and also just fits the role of the Alliance better, the general theme of them. All of the buildings remain unchanged, but some of them have new units in them. Now, one of the new units for strictly Alliance only is in the Griffin Aviary. They now have two Griffins. They have the regular Griffin Rider, and now they also have the new one, which is the Daughter of the Sky. Now this is a support flying unit, and I don't believe it has any direct damage, but it does cast a buff, and this is it over here on the Snow White Griffin, female dwarf on a Griffin, and she can dash around just like the regular Griffin Riders, and she has Inner Fire, which gives you 1 armour, 4% damage, and it can stack up to 5 times. Now this is on autocast, so if we look over here, that seems to have it on because of that weird sort of... Oh wait, no, that's this time. Okay, never mind. Well, I'm going to turn it off autocast and manually cast it myself on this here archer. And then she gets +1 armour and 4% damage per heal. So we'll cast another one on her. It doesn't seem to be stacking properly. But yeah, so that's the new unit for the Alliance. There is, however, new units for everybody in the mercenary thing. Now the mercenary thing, called the Zeppelin port, is spawning just behind your base over this cliff, so it's quite easy to get to. I don't even think you need to actually clear out a creep camp to get to it. And once you are there, I think you've actually got to get a hero next to it, so I'll just quickly take this here Worgen over there. Now, like I say, it gives you free units for everybody. There are 3 different units, each one costing gold, mithril and supply, except for one of them. One of them doesn't cost supply, so you can get that without altering things or having to buy new farms. Now once your hero is next to it, you've got the option to actually buy things from it. The first unit is a rifle girl. Make one of those. So this is a little goblin mercenary. Kind of based off hunters, I feel, because it has a freezing trap. Now freezing trap has got this range. Pop that down, and then you can get a 5-second immobilize. So the enemy will stand in that and then be frozen for 5 seconds. So that's quite nice. I don't know if the damage would break that. And then she also has Stim Pack, which increases movement and attack speed by 40% and lasts for 10 seconds with a 60-second cooldown. So that's that, and then she runs a little faster, a bit more DPS. As for DPS when not buffed, she's got around the same kind of stats as an archer, but I think because of the Stim Pack, it actually works out to be a better all-round unit. Although it doesn't have the aspects such as crit or dodge or movement speed, I still think this is quite a nice little addition. Second thing, Goblin Shredder. Bit more expensive and takes 4 supply. However, it's a siege unit which is available to everybody, which was something that was quite sorely missing from the game. It also does quite nice damage just in itself at 45 with a 1-second attack speed. 2-second attack speed rather. But as you can see there with the bracket, plus 225 versus fortified with an already fairly high attack on buildings. So this is a good thing for taking out buildings and structures, and just like the Fell Reaver for the Burning Legion, it also has the overclock thing that increases all of its stuff by crazy amounts, and then it'll blow up after 15 seconds. So that is the Goblin Shredder, and I believe you can get as many of these types of units as you want, as long as you wait for the cooldown to finish again. So there you go, the Goblin fell up the top and the Shredder falls down. Now the last thing you can get is fairly cheap and doesn't cost any supply, Goblin Zeppelin. So you could have an entire fleet of these without any detrimental effects to your army size. So you can use this to get the units up inside, put the thing up in there, and then you can transport them around. at fairly large speed, and you can bypass cliffs. And maybe even go over to the enemy base and drop inside the enemy base to try and piss them off. Try and kill all the workers to interrupt supply. So this unit really opens up harassment options within the game. Get a Zeppelin early on, and while the enemy's creeping out, you can just get a Zeppelin, sneak right into the base behind all of the towers, and yeah. So we'll put a freeze trap over there, and then we've used Impact to get high attack speed. So if they walk into that freezing trap, they'll get frozen, so we're going to be able to focus fire this worker, kill that off, and then get in the Zeppelin and bail out of there without any losses. So that's a new tactic that's available within this build. So that's all of the mercenary units covered. One last thing for the Alliance is they now have a new hero. Now, the new hero is Varian Rin. Sadly, he has replaced the Demon Hunter, although his abilities are quite similar. The Demon Hunter was a very iconic unit, and I'm sure people are going to miss it. But regarding his abilities being similar, he still has this thing which the Demon Hunter had, where he dashes around, does damage as he goes through. He has Dragon Roar, an AoE stun, that does all damage also, and he has Die by the Sword. Now he activates this and you get more charges per level, and whenever somebody hits him, he parries it and then does a mini whirlwind attack back at the enemy. Now I'm actually under attack, so maybe I'll be able to actually demonstrate that. Or maybe not.
Serve with honor.
But that's the new hero for the Alliance, although I'm not sure his ultimate yet, which is called Father and Son. Now, in World of Warcraft, he is the King of Stormwind, and he has a son, and with this ultimate, you can sun him in it.
Glad you're here. I hope you are enjoying your stay in Stormwind.
Now, this is
Keep your eyes open for anything suspicious.
the son. His damage is quite weak, although he has nice abilities. He's immune to all crowd control. He has a massive heal with a fairly long cast time, and also powered shield, which is quite strong. 30% movement speed to everybody and blocks one attack completely. And it's not targetable, it does it on everybody. So if I move him in here and cast it,
We'll get to the bottom of this.
you can just see how many units that actually affects, and the range of it. It actually hit his dad from way over there. So that's quite a nice little ultimate. I think that covers everything for the Alliance. So I shall move over to the Horde and show you the changes there, because there is changes for all races. So I'll be back soon with the Horde. Okay, now we're playing the Horde, and there's not a great deal of changes, to be honest, with the Horde. The main one being the new hero that's been added, and this one actually replaced the High Lord, because it was decided by the developer it was too similar to the Archmage, and it really was. This new hero, however, the Shadow Hunter, a troll, is absolutely fantastic. It's an instant hit with me. I love its abilities. So it's an agility hero. I mean, the Horde actually doesn't have any intelligence heroes, which is a bit strange. So if you do want an intelligence hero, you're probably going to have to go and get them from the neutral camp thing, neutral hero list. As for its abilities, it's got Healing Wave, which is a huge AoE heal. It heals up to 5 total targets if you get it at level 3, healing for 400, and at level 2 it's 300, at level 1 200. And yeah, it's just a really nice heal. Very similar to the Warcraft 3 version. It's also got Shadow Strike, which is a very, very heavy nuke and damage over time, and movement speed decrease. So this is brilliant. It's also got Serpent Ward. This summons a little snake guy, like that, like a little totem with a snake on it. And that has a expiry duration on it, but it also does a lot of damage. You can see here it does more than your average unit, and especially against heavy units, by quite a large amount, and this is only at level 2. So between Shadow Strike and this guy can put out some serious damage. He's also ranged as well. You can see this glaive that he's using. He throws that through the air from a range of 8. So he's quite versatile in that he can do a lot of damage, he can do a lot of healing. And he also has his ultimate, Voodoo. Friendly targets 50% chance to dodge enemy attack, ranged attack and magic attack. Now this sounds a little similar to the power word shield on the king. Not entirely sure though. Let's see if it affects everybody. Yep, it does. So it's basically the same, except it's not a guaranteed chance to dodge. It's only 50%. However, it might have a duration longer, so maybe it'll last a longer time, so you can get more use out of it. I'm not entirely certain. So yeah, that's the main change to the Horde, the new hero. So he's great. Something I never checked out in the Alliance version is the most basic unit in the game, Grunt, now has 2 stances. He's got a battle stance and a defensive stance. Now he's got all his abilities from before in battle stance. He's got his recklessness and his charge. But he's also got this sort of passive thing, tank unit. 30% chance to parry melee and ranged attacks, minus 50% chance, damage taken when you do parry the attack. 10% chance to dodge the attack, minus 100% damage taken when you dodge it. So these guys really do become genuine meat shields now. If you put them in defensive stance, they look a little different. They get a small axe and a shield on, like this guy. And they also have new abilities. He's got a heroic throw, which debuffs them. 50% chance to knock down a non-hero target, so it's got a kind of little stun effect. And also Thunderclap, which deals damage. And decreases movement speed. So while that fight's just going on, so it did seem like the Voodoo lasted longer. Just move it out of range of the fight because then you can't hardly hear anything. So yeah, the most basic unit has that little change to it, so it's got 2 different stances. I think the Footman may have that, I never actually checked. And I'm not going to go back and do that. So yeah, that's the changes to the Horde, and now I'll check out the Burning Legion. Okay, and now we're playing as the Burning Legion. Now the Burning Legion has had quite the overhaul. It's had several changes, all of them good. It makes the race feel a lot more complete, a lot more versatile, and just better in every possible way. You still have the same structures, you still have the Fallout Barracks, the Dark Portal, and then you can get your Fell Workshop to get the Fell Reaver and upgrade to other units as well. Now, grimoires that you get from here have slightly changed. So I've actually picked one already. They're all the same, although functionality has differed a little bit. Now, the one that gives life gem for demons is exactly the same. However, the other 2 slightly different. But we'll come back to that in a moment, because the key thing about the Burning Legion now is it's got new units. Oh, I didn't want to fight now. God damn it. I've just sorted out all the units in a nice line so I could pick them all out and describe them individually, but no, wasn't to be. Oh well. You can probably notice straight away that they're a bit different anyways. using a different hero from before in my previous video. Just slightly different. Got the Blood Mage this time. Turns out it's actually pretty cool.
Have a good one.
Right, did I lose all the new units? And the important ones that I was desperate to show? I don't think I did. Because there's a lot of changes to cover. So we'll start with the Nether Drakes. The Nether Drake, previously their ability wasn't actually described. Now it is. Each attack for its special ability is a damage over time and movement speed. So you can research it there and it says exactly what it is, so you don't just get it and then hope it's good. Now you actually know exactly what it does. Something else new is, well, actually everything that comes from the Barracks is new. So, where are the grunts? They're warlocks. I'm sure I've got a grunt in here somewhere. Please don't say I've not got a grunt. There they are. Over that side. Still got the Fell Reaver there. And that's actually immune to all crowd control now. So it's even more unstoppable. So Chaos Grunts. They've got a completely new set of abilities. They've got Bloodlust Strike, which costs 5% HP, but restores 5 HP when it uses it. That's the way I'm reading it. It's a little strange. But the most important one it's got now is Heroism Strike. 50 damage with a 0.5% chance to knock down the enemy hero. Each strike gains 1 honour. Now this is quite a big deal. God, Karosh just gets raped by that Fell Reaver. So when you get 10 of these, it upgrades. And as you see, the cooldown is 10 seconds, so it's not something you can quickly stack up. And you've obviously got to keep the thing alive. Once it gets to 10 honour, it can be upgraded to a Blood Guard. And this is done automatically. And as you can see, it just says that again, needs 10 honour. What's going on over here? Well, that's disappointing. Anyway, I don't care about fighting, I'm just trying to show stuff. So hopefully they just don't keep coming at me. Yes, grunts.
Next warrior, now!
Once they've got 10 honour, their 10 is this guy.
And crush these fools.
This is a Blood Guard. It has got 1,000 health. This has got 700. This has got 30 damage standard.
Next warrior,
This has got 45. It's got Bloodlust Strike, same as before. It's got the Heroism Strike, so that it can still keep on doing the knockdown thing. It's got Crazy Berserker. It's got the tank unit passive, so it can dodge and parry attacks. And it's also immune to all crowd control. So if you can manage to keep your grunts alive, they'll turn into this absolute beast. So that's cool. Next up, Warlocks. Now these guys are a little different too. Now they've still got the same life drain, however now they also have health stones. Health stones is a small life regeneration buff, but after 30 seconds you get 350 HP. So it's kind of like a delayed heal, very delayed at 30 seconds, but this gives Warlocks more of a healing power than they used to have, which was something the Burning Legion was really lacking. So Warlocks are a lot better at their job now. Now as far as Grimoires go, the one that gave you imps, that's still exactly the same. I've not taken it in this particular case. The next one though, Sacrifice, it used to kill the unit after 15 seconds of being amazing. Not the same anymore. Now it gives mana. 20% chance to gain 50 mana with each attack or spell. So it's not the kind of thing that you avoid taking because you don't want all units to die. Now it's actually worth it. And there's not just Warlocks that can benefit from this. Another bit of a fight going on here. I guess we'll zoom out and actually do something about it. Oh wow, I've got murdering. I've never seen this before. I think something's gone horribly, horribly wrong. Hey, weather. So we'll get those upgrading. So yeah, Warlocks have got a lot better at doing their job. Now as far as Barracks units go, there's 2 more units yet to be described. The first is a brand new unit, the Shadow Blade. I can just find it here.
Well, the Lars shines once again. You would have done the same, I'm sure.
So this is basically a Blood Oath Rogue, but for the Burning Legion. Same sort of look as the
It was
old
no
version,
trouble.
in that it's got horns and wings and stuff, but now it's got some blades and it's got more roguish type of armour. So this thing, it's got reasonable damage, so fairly average really. Difference is though, it's got a mana pool. Now it's got a blink called Shadow Dance. The reason that this has got 3 levels is because it's just copy pasted from the Horde hero's abilities. So that's just irrelevant really. It's got Eviscerate, costs 90 mana, and it's got Sacrificial Pact, which has a 100% chance to gain 100 energy when it parries or dodges and critically strikes. And then it's also got the tank unit thing, which gives it even more chances to get mana and stuff used through Sacrificial Pact. So this thing can become quite a beastly little unit, because it'll be constantly using Eviscerate, which is a shock damage to all the units. I think shock is basically a stun. So that's the new unit for the Burning Legion, or one of them. The other one is not exactly new, but it's redesigned a little bit. It's now a male Blood Elf, and again it's got the new Sacrificial Pact ability open to it. And the last thing out the Barracks is obviously the Netherling Drakes, which we've seen before. Now, as for new things for demons, the upgrade for Felguards is now gone. You don't upgrade them to Wrathguards yourself. You actually upgrade them via the same honour system as the Grunts. Now I've got a Felguard here, not a Wrathguard. I did have some, but then that attack happened that I wasn't paying attention to because I was describing stuff. And he died, so I can't show you that, unless he upgrades himself now, but I doubt he will. So one of those of the Grunts has become a Bloodguard now, so I'm getting stronger as I fight. Let's see. So yeah, the Felguards, they've got the same ability for a Heroism Strike to get the upgrade, and will become a Wrathguard. That still has the Fellstorm ability, and it also has the tank unit. So the Burning Legion, maybe to make up for the fact that they don't have a lot of heals, have got a lot of units with this tank unit thing, which is very strong.
Wake up! We're under attack!
Now, as you can probably tell by having me been hovering over this army for quite a while, there's also another unit, which is a Corehound, aka Fellbeast. Again, sort of average damage really, but it's got quite a lot of armour. And it's immune to all crowd control, and it has an immolation aura. Every 3 seconds, 30 damage to all enemy ground units within 2 yards. So this thing's constantly pumping out damage in addition to its normal attacks. So it's quite cool. That's actually a 5 supply unit, the brand new one, the Fellbeast. So the Burning Legion, 2 new units, a couple of revised ones, and extra sort of units if you include the upgrades as well. So they've become a much more interesting class and much more well-rounded and better at doing their job. So I think Burning Legion have had the best treatment in this patch. So that's everything covered, I believe. So the next time I come back to this, it'll probably be when the Scourge get released, and I'll go through all the changes with those. So if you're a fan of this mod, search for it for WAH on the StarCraft Arcade, and hopefully this has been useful in telling you all the changes to this game. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.